Hello, I'm Colette Beckham. I run Gain Consulting and I've been working on the Cornwall AONB Protected Landscapes Investment Bank for the last year or so. The project's just come to an end. It aimed to examine the feasibility of private sector investment in farmers who go the extra mile for nature, climate, and other ecosystem services such as clean water. We've been working with an amazing group of farmers on the stunning Lizard Peninsula in Cornwall. So we're primarily looking at how this finance might be blended with public funding, and that's mainly the new agri-environment schemes, or ELMS, and the potential role of the AONB unit and AONB Charitable Trust as a convener and facilitator of farm-directed investments. My role in the project has been to lead on what's termed the supply side, and this is to work with our farmers to develop the programme of works which might be funded through private sector investments, in other words, the investment offer. We've explored with the farmers a really broad spectrum of works that they could achieve on farms, from approaches around agroecology, such as agroforestry and herbal lays, but also habitat creation such as ponds, wetlands, heathland creation, woodland creation, and species-rich grasslands. Specifically, we've examined the areas of land on the farm where woodland can be created to generate carbon credits, that's for the Woodland Carbon Code, and to generate biodiversity net gain units through different habitat interventions to create biodiversity compensation sites. These two mechanisms being the most worked up mechanisms for investing in ecosystem services in the UK at the moment. We've worked with our group really hard to try and understand the risks and the barriers, and importantly, the incentivisations that influence how far farmers are prepared to engage in private sector investments. In addition to the supply side feasibility, we've also undertaken market testing with potential buyers, and that's specifically larger companies in Cornwall who might have a reason to invest for CSR, ESG, or marketing purposes, or to offset their impacts, or to reach their own environmental targets. I think the key learning point for me, or one of them anyway, is the private financing of farmers to achieve really amazing, far-reaching positive benefits for nature and climate is completely achievable, and there are working models for doing this, some of which we've explored through our project. When we started the project, I was struggling in my own mind a bit to see where the return on investment was going to come from. And I now understand that by adopting a model where profits, for example, from the sale of credits are shared, investors can see a return while the farmers also can generate levels of income that will result for them in profitable farm businesses and viable businesses going forward. As we work harder towards solving the twin crises of climate and nature, pricing within carbon and nature markets only looks set to increase, resulting in increasing margins. So the future looks bright. I think the other big learning point for me is a better understanding of the kinds of markets that might drive really large scale uptake from the farming sector, and that's where it gets really exciting for me. Unfortunately, we don't think this is likely to be found in models such as Woodland Carbon Code or Biodiversity Net Gain, where land is required to be removed from farm production. So the big wins, we think, will be in supporting farmers to work differently with land that stays in production and continues to produce food. And that's through agroecological approaches like wood pasture or other forms of agroforestry, herbal lays, swales, and the improved management of soils. We need to increase our understanding and data, though, around the ecosystem services and the extent of ecosystem services that are delivered by these agroecological approaches, so we can work out better the value of them. We need to begin to develop trading mechanisms and platforms for them as well. I think the most interesting part of the project, though, for me, was the journey of exploration that everyone's been on as the project's progressed. the project's been managed by 3 diverse consultancies, Gain Consulting and the University of Exeter through Dr. Grace Twiston Davis. We've been both focusing on the ecology and farm advisory side, and Terranomics focusing very much on the investment finance aspects. The AONB unit and the AONB Charitable Trust have overseen the whole process, deeply engaged from the perspective of trying to better understand their potential role. And I've learnt so much from everyone involved, particularly on the finance side of things. While I know that through our work on the farmer side, everyone's understanding of the perspective from that side has increased massively as well. All credit to our farmer group though, and also our market testing potential buyers for bringing their knowledge, their expertise and their enthusiasm to the project. It's only really through bringing together these kind of teams with a really diverse but complementary skill set that we can begin to drive UK delivery of these fairly complicated investment systems. I'm particularly looking forward with this project to seeing how work progresses into detailed development and eventual implementation. Much depends on getting this right, and we can hopefully generate more and more opportunities to restore nature and to mitigate climate change. Thanks very much.